Hey, welcome back, guys. Raising Kanan's latest episode gave us some subtle insight into Marvin's next move against Toni Deep, his former jump-off turned snitch. We've seen him track her whereabouts in small doses throughout the season, but his forthcoming execution, pun intended, could have some dire effects on his family's current peace treaty with the Italians. In this video, we'll be dissecting Marvin's moves and what they could mean for the Thomas family going forward. Before we begin, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and bell notification to immediately receive these videos. Also, big thank you to all of my channel donors. If you'd like to be the next one, drop $1 on that Cash App for us. And lastly, a spoiler alert is now in effect for all things power. Here we go. Let's take this from the top. In episode 2 this season, Marvin met with his lawyer to lament his anger management aspect of his probation. He also received an update from his lawyer regarding the whereabouts of Toni Deep, Westchester County. In episode 5, we were shown Marvin's travels through the affluent suburb and the police presence that accompanied him. In spite of that, he was able to find Toni, first in the shopping district, and then later at her home with her new husband. Marvin's face during that scene was pretty hilarious too, might I add. Though the cop trailing nearby deterred his murderous campaign, Marv was still able to get somewhat of a location on his transgressor. Fast forward to our current episode. After the meeting with Rock, Marvin inquires about Toni to her former employer, who unknowingly gives him further insight into her marriage origin and the caliber of the man she's with. This could be just to see how dangerous or benign a potential retaliation would be if Marvin were to hit the proverbial button. Later, at Rock's meeting with the Italians, Marv queries Marco on Eddie Murphy's residence playfully and learns that Marco is also a Westchester resident. This piece of information is critical to our predictions going forward. In my recent video on the plot synopsis for episodes 7 and 8, I openly questioned if Marvin would be the triggerman on Toni, or would he possibly enlist the services of someone else? Let's revisit his parts in those 2 episode explanations. In episode 7, it states that, quote, a botched agreement between Marvin and an associate threatens everything. I think that agreement is between Marvin and Marco to kill Toni. It makes perfect sense. Marvin wouldn't be able to get close enough to her again, especially in that neighborhood, without the police being on his bumper. Literally. Marco, on the other hand, is not only a resident, but has the complexion for the protection, if you know what I mean. He'd easily be able to access Toni's whereabouts. And even worse for Lady Deep, she'd never see him coming. She knows Marvin, what he's about, and how he looks. But an Italian stranger would completely catch Toni off guard, thus resulting in an easy death and payoff for Marv's new Italian connection. If that's not enough, the new trailer for episode 7 literally depicts Marco and that deplorable Italian henchman from the Catskills breaking into an unknown residence, guns blazing. I believe this to be the scene where Toni meets her demise. However, keep in mind that the synopsis states that the agreement is botched, which could mean a variety of things. Perhaps Toni's husband is killed, or even worse, Marco. That would intensify the newly formed arrangement between Rock and Baselli, and ultimately destroy it altogether, following the potential death of his own flesh and blood. Also, this leads us into Marv's plot point in episode 8, which reads, Marvin lays low while waiting for the consequences of his actions to blow over. I think that this is a direct reference to the aforementioned theory. Marvin would indeed have to go off the grid in order to avoid retribution for a botched hit scenario. Additionally, this could be the reason why Rock sees dark clouds on the horizon in the very next line of the episode synopsis, as her brother would have made things untenable between the 2 factions. Remember, the 8th episode in Power is always a big one historically, one that creates a major narrative shift for the season to come. After a lackluster episode 5, this commentator is holding out hope for a monster episode 8. But what are your thoughts on all of this? How will Marvin handle the Toni situation from where you're sitting? And will it turn out to be his biggest blunder of all time? Be sure to drop me your opinions in the comments below. As always, I thank you for watching today's video. If you liked today's video, go ahead and drop $1 on that Cash App for us, hit the like button, share it with your friends who are Power fans, and subscribe for more content such as this. This is Rudy P. Magic of Rudy P. Magic Beats, and have a blessed one until the next one. Peace, y'all.